Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the weekend roundup. And what a weekend it's been again. Brilliant football over the weekend, and of course, some controversies, as there always is when it comes to refereeing and things like that. But, well, where do we start? I think the only place to start is at Manchester City yesterday. Manchester City Spurs, Manchester City 3, Spurs 3. I have to say, very, very good game. And I'm going to be really honest, as much as I hate it, I think Tottenham thoroughly deserved the draw. I thought they played really, really well. Didn't go gun ho, but didn't defend like a lot of other teams had done. They actually put it on Manchester City from the very start and continued to do that. Even when they was 3-2 down, they continued to do that and got the equaliser. And credit for them to doing that. I'm not going to go too mad about, it was a magnificent performance from the manager and things like that. Let's be honest, Manchester City had their chances and probably should have won by half time, but they didn't. There's something not quite right at Manchester City. I've said this for a few weeks now. They're not quite the same team as last season. I think that they will be when De Bruyne comes back into the team. I think that they're missing him. Any team that is missing a player of that caliber are going to suffer a little bit, and I think that's what's happening with them at the moment. And for all their talk of about things, I don't think the manager has quite got it right on the flanks at the moment. Grealish doesn't look the same player as he was last season, and has been in and out of the team. So it's a real dilemma for them, and it's good, isn't it? Like, you know, they're got a difficult game on Wednesday, I believe, against Aston Villa. So, listen, someone said to me yesterday, which was a very, very good point. Don't matter where Manchester City are at this moment, the most important thing is to get in front of them as often as we can and get as many points in front of them as we can, and that's certainly something that we're looking to do at the moment. Like, you know, and I think 3 points is good at this stage. Let's hope that if Arsenal can get the business done on Tuesday, you never know, then we could actually get in front of them by six points by the time they play, putting a little bit of pressure on them. That's what we've got to do, and look, see what we can do. Like, you know, have to talk about the controversial refereeing decision. I don't know what was going on there. Like, you know, he seemed to let him go through and then blow up when he seemed to be through. Listen, of all the controversy of it all, that there's no guarantee that Grealish was going to score from that. Like, you know, so at the end of it, we have to just say that it's one of those things. And listen, Manchester City had a lot of things go their way, I think, in the last few weeks, and on certainly on VAR and things like that. So I don't think that they can be done, you know, as much as it as we feel for them at this moment in time. Like, you know, so we'll see. Like, you know, where go from there. I don't know what's going on with this logo in my thing at the moment, so I don't really know what's going on there at the moment. Why that has come up. And I honestly don't know why that is there. So I'm going to try and eliminate that if I can. But at this moment in time, I have no clue what that is doing there, like, you know. And let's see if I can try and get that off while we're doing it. Could it be on banners or something? I'm not too sure where that is. As you can tell, I'm well new to all this sort of stuff. So I don't know why that is there. And I can't get nothing off. As it happens, nothing seems to be working at the moment. See if that does that, comes there. I have no clue whatsoever why that is there, but we'll continue, like, you know, to go on with it. Like, I don't know. But anyway, North London podcast. I don't know what it's going to be this week, because obviously we've got a game Tuesday and Spurs have got a game Thursday, so we'll have to wait and see, like, you know. So we'll go from there. Like, I have no clue where to get that off, like, you know what I mean. So I don't know what I'm doing with it. Can put myself back in. No, it's still there. I don't know what is that doing. I shall get on to our production staff about that and wonder why that is up there, because I have no clue what that is doing there. Like, no. But listen, Manchester City 3, Spurs 3. I thought it was a good game to watch. At the end of the day, realistically and really being honest, I didn't care who won the game. Like, certainly didn't celebrate when Manchester City scored, and certainly didn't celebrate when Spurs scored. So all in all, a very, very good game. Before all that, of course, at the weekend, obviously Arsenal were playing Wolves, 2-1 win. Arsenal winning that game. I think more comfortably than the result suggests. 2-1 should have been a little bit more, but like other teams in the Premier League this season, like we wasn't taking our chances, and that was the problem. I don't really know why we didn't play as well as what we did second half. I think you've got to give Wolves a bit of credit. I thought they'd done really, really well. They hung in there and made it difficult for us. And listen, I think a lot of other teams would have been blown away at that stage. Got like 4 or 5 goals against them, but we didn't. They didn't, and we didn't. And but all in all, it was. I thought a very, very enjoyable first half. Some of the football was back to our very, very best. Our front three were sensational in that first 20-25 minutes, backed up by Odegaard in the midfield there. I thought he was back to his very, very best. So all in all, very, very good performance. And first half that was. And then really, I think, showed a different side of us all there. We didn't capitulate when it went 2-1. We see out the game, manager making decisions on the bench, bringing on more defensive players, and we see it out, I think, fairly comfortably when you look at it all in all. So I think Arsenal, it was an expected win, and that's what you've got to do in the Premier League. I think you've got to get your expected wins, and that was the performance that we needed. And I don't know if it put any pressure on any other teams up in, the following day. It might have done with Liverpool, I don't know. But at the end of it, that's all you can do. You just start taking care of our business. And I think what's important about Tuesday going forward now is that we again go on, we're first. So we're the ones that can put the points on the board. Put, as I say, go 6 points in a clear of Manchester City going to Aston Villa, which is not easy. Try and put a little bit of pressure on Liverpool before the weekend. So some really intriguing games coming up in the week as well. Liverpool, well, I'm not going to criticise Liverpool's performance watching the game. You've got to give credit to it. I thought they come back well. Probably should have been winning again, missed a few chances. Like all teams this week seem to miss chances, and Liverpool were guilty of that, I think, as well. But once they got the equaliser, just felt that they was going to go and win the game, and that's a sign of a good team. Liverpool produced a very, very good performance last week against Manchester City. Even though Tottenham got that result there, I thought that was more calculated, more of a professional job than what Tottenham did. But at the end of it, Liverpool were worthy of that result last week, and they backed that up with a win against Fulham. So it'd be really, really enjoyable to see what's going to happen with Liverpool, because I think somebody said to me yesterday, my mate Mark was a Spurs fan, actually said, I think Arsenal, with Liverpool being in the title race, I don't know if you guys agree with this, but with 3 teams in the title race, it would be more beneficial for us challenging, instead of it just being 2. So I think that's a fair point. So Liverpool in the title race at this moment in time, and you can't argue at the moment. They've done what Arsenal have got to do in a couple of weeks' time, and what Tottenham done yesterday is that we've got to go to one of these big boys. And I'm looking at the Liverpool game and get something from that. Aston Villa is going to be a very, very tough game, but if Arsenal to get something, if Manchester City were to beat Aston Villa on Wednesday, everybody would be, yeah, that's the right thing, So, but when they go to Liverpool, you take a point or whatever. So that's something that Arsenal got to do. But Liverpool come from behind. I think the 87th minute they were 3-2 down to win 4-2. That's a good sign. We've done that a few times last season, so you have to give them credit for that. So it was a really, really good performance. One of the games that's gone under the radar a little bit was the Newcastle Manchester United game, and I think that. Mainly might because it was Saturday night, and I don't know, and perhaps that there was bigger games the Manchester City Spurs and what happened. But 1-0 to Newcastle. Newcastle again beating one of the top teams by a goal to nil. And I have to say, I'm getting more and more impressed with Anthony Gordon's performances. I thought he was again superb, played really, really well. And Newcastle creeping up there, had a couple of good results of late, and a disappointing one last week. But they've had at home, they've been pushing and pushing and pushing. Was it 4-1 against Chelsea and beating Man United, beating Arsenal. So their home form was really, really good, and it's a tough place to play. So Newcastle getting the result against Manchester United. Manchester United were realistically only 6 points off the top going into the weekend's fixtures. Now they're 9. So they was getting and nicking a few 1-0 wins and starting to climb up the table, I think, under the radar a little bit. So Newcastle beating them. Manchester United, not quite right at Manchester United. I don't know what's going on there at Manchester United, but it's good to see it from a Arsenal point of view, So I'm liking what I'm seeing in that. That was a good game. Bit of a funny sort of time at 8 o'clock. I'm not too sure about those games, but at the end of it, that's what you have to deal with now with Sky TV. So we'll take that. Another interesting game I thought was Nottingham Forest versus Everton, and Everton picking up their first win since the 10-point deduction. Well done on that. I don't know what's going to happen with this. Really, really interested in going into the where they're appealing against it now and everything like that. So it's very, very interesting to see what happens. But they've just got to take the business and just do the business, I suppose, on the pitch. And I think a 1-0 win at Nottingham Forest was a really, really good result. We do the last man standing, and I went out this week with Manchester City, but there's some really tricky performances there, and I'm pretty sure a few people might have just put in the Nottingham Forest one at home there, and have gone down as well, So it is really, really interesting that what's going to happen there with Everton, but that's a very, very good win for them, as it was for Burnley. 5-0 Burnley against Sheffield United. Didn't see that coming. I felt Burnley would win it and nick it, but I didn't think 5-0, and that really now does put a real black cloud over Sheffield United and what they do with Paul Hickinbottom. I'm pretty sure they're going to sack him today. Rumours are that they will. Very, very harsh, but understandable. This is the guy that's got them into the Premier League. He's done all the things that they do, and I think that they've been loyal to him to stay this long. But it is really now where they've got to make a decision and make something happen, and I think that it is now something that they have to do. And for me, I think that, as we say, I think the rumours are that he will go today. It'd be very, very interesting to see where they go with that. But I think that Burnley, that's a good result for them, and they'll be very, very pleased with that. And it could be a little start for them. The really strange thing is that Sheffield United and Burnley just romped the Championship last season, and Luton come through the playoffs. And Luton at this moment in time are having a better season with the results and things like that. So I think that's very, very important that Burnley got off the mark. It's not one of the easiest places to go to, and I think that the way that they're playing, Burnley, they're playing an expressive sort of game. You need credit for that. So we'll see what happens there. So it does look like I think it's going to be the first manager casualty of the season so far, which is unbelievable that we've got into December and that's going to happen. But there you go. Also at the weekend, going away from the Premier League now, was the FA Cup draw. Went under the radar a little bit with the Euros. A draw again, Gareth Southgate getting a very, very easy draw. When you look at some of those draws in the Euros, my word, Gareth Southgate and England have been very, very lucky with draws over the last few years. And if they don't make hay of it this time, I just don't know. But a nice draw for England. But the FA Cup draw went under the radar. And some I think some intriguing. I've just run out a few which I think will be interesting games, and I've really, what I've done is named all the teams in the Premier League and one other that I think could be a tough game for a certain team. The standout tie, of course, involves Arsenal versus Liverpool. I think from Arsenal fans' point of view, the only consolation is that we're at home in that game there. I think if you're very, very unlucky. There's 64 teams in it, teams from non-league, League Two, League One, Championship in that draw. For you to pick out a Premier League side is very, very unfortunate and very, very unlucky. And then when you pick out one of the big boys, it's unreal, So it'd be interesting to see what teams that they will pick in there, because this have a little bit of a chat about that, because Arsenal play Fulham on the New Year's Eve, which is the 31st, and we don't play until the following weekend, which will be Arsenal versus Liverpool. Now, in that game, Arsenal and Liverpool will definitely be either on a Friday, Saturday or Sunday. It won't be on the Monday night football, because Liverpool will be involved in the Carabao Cup. So it means that it will be a weekend game. And then once that game is played, Arsenal then go on the winter break. So no real need to rest players. So it'd be interesting to see, and Darren says there, does Arteta go for the FA Cup? Well, if he doesn't play a strong team in that with rest before and rest afterwards, then there's your answer. So I think Arsenal will definitely go strong in that game there, and Arsenal-Liverpool definitely the standout tie of the round. Followed closely by Sunderland versus Newcastle. Now, that obviously they've not had a local derby for a long while, because obviously Sunderland have been in the Championship and down there, and I think probably the last time they would have played, maybe someone corrected me, it was probably not even in the Premier League, but they're playing in the FA Cup. It looks like it's going to be a really, really intriguing game there. I think for Sunderland, they'd be well happy that it's at Sunderland. So it means it's going to be a packed crowd there, full house for that game there. And listen, if you're a neutral, you're going to join in for that one there, because that is a really mouth-watering third round tie, Sunderland versus Newcastle. Other Premier League games, Crystal Palace versus Everton. Everton they seem to not have a lot of luck when it comes to the FA Cup, and away from home to Palace is not ideal in the third round there, so that'll be a tough one there. Brentford versus Wolves. Wolves just don't seem to be having too much luck all round this season, with VAR, and they would have liked to have probably gone on a nice cup run, but Brentford's never an easy place to go to, and I expect Brentford to win that, and home advantage being there. I feel sorry for Wolves. I'm gonna say that now. A little soft spot for Wolves and the way that they're going about it, and Gary O'Neill's doing a fantastic job there, I'd like to see Wolves get through, but I don't think that's going to be the case. Middlesbrough versus Villa is the game that I think I wouldn't want to be going there in the third round. Middlesbrough just slightly on the up now to what they were. Villa, if they take that lightly, could get beaten. And Villa, I think, are a side that is definitely on the up, and they want to start adding some silverware to their profile, and Conference League is something that I think they've got a very, very good chance of doing. But I do think that Villa have got to start picking up a few games and performances there, and that's going to be a tough one. And I do think that Villa could actually win something this season. So we're out waiting to see. So the FA Cup draw made there. I think it's still an intriguing competition for me. I want Arsenal to be strong. I want Arsenal to go on and win it. I wouldn't say that they're favourites, but at this moment in time, if we beat Liverpool, we've certainly got to be favourable in there. One thing I will say is that Manchester United got an away draw at long last, but they didn't win out one of the big boys. They picked out Wigan, so they haven't got far to go. And I think it's their first away draw for a very, very long while. Record breaking, I think it was, wasn't it? So Be difficult for them, but I expect them to go through. I expect all the big boys to go through. I think that the other Premier League, all Premier League tie that I left out there was Tottenham versus Burnley. I think that Spurs at home, their only competition that they're in there, like they would have, would I say, like bite your hand off for a home draw against Burnley? I think they would do. I think they'll say that's fair enough, like, you know, and go from there, like, you know. So I think from Arsenal's point of view, it's very, very important. I'm just talking from there that Arsenal have a good cup run this season. I really do. Like, you know, I know the Champions League is put to bed now till February, so we've got a couple of FA Cup games in there, and also with the games in what's the games like? You got the bit of the winter break in between there and all that. It'd be important that to keep the momentum going and things like that, particularly in January, because, like, you know, after a very, very busy period in December, it just sort of peters out a little bit in January. So I think we need to be playing cup games as well. So that's my point on that. Don't know what people think of that, like, you know, but that's the FA Cup draw. Just moving away from football, for my last thing now, big snooker fan and big Ronnie O'Sullivan fan. I don't know if any of the guys watched that yesterday, but he was sensational yesterday. So congratulations to Ronnie O'Sullivan for winning his 8th UK Open, like 30 years after winning his first one. Like, so he's now the youngest and the oldest player to win the UK snooker championships, like, you know. So listen, that's the weekend roundup. Just before I go, don't forget there's some midweek fixtures to look forward to this week in the Premier League. I think that's always exciting when there's a midweek fixture in the Premier League. Arsenal go to Luton on Tuesday. As I said, Manchester City go to Aston Villa, and I think on Thursday, I think would be a very, very good game to watch. Tottenham Hotspur versus West Ham. So some really good games to look forward to. Whatever you're doing this week, enjoy, stay warm. I think it's going to be a little bit warmer. So not, as we were saying last week, stay warm. I think it's stay dry this time around, like, you know. So everybody have a fantastic day. Thanks for listening to the roundup, and I'll see you next time.